Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Welcome to the Athletes edition of UCSS. We got Dustin, defensive back extraordinary in the building. We got a whole secondary in here. There you go. Right, you got middle chair. You go ahead right there. Tyvis Powell, he's a bandit safety.
Bandit safety? What does that mean? A boundary safety?
No. He's one of them dudes that stand up. That's on the end of the line of scrimmage.
Oh my gosh! You know what?
That's the size he is now.
I'm losing.
You know they got the star position.
I'm losing weight
bandit.
now.
Yeah, how much you like? 240? 240? Hey, but it's a good 240.
This is the same as like a jack linebacker?
Yeah, that's it.
Listen, I move well for my size right now. Like I still got it though.
I know. I feel like if I got
I still got my speed. Like
that's a good 240. It's levels to the 240. You like an athletic big boy, ABB now.
Sorry, man. I went through my linebacker stage too.
Yeah.
Listen. I'm about to go on a liquid diet. This is about to fall off the bone, bro. Like I'm about to come back next year. Like I'm gonna lose a good 20 pounds in 2025.
Hey, listen,
you don't look bad at all. You look like a big athletic guy.
It's not the way that I look. It's the fact that when I step on the scale, I am just in disbelief that it says what it says.
I was this morning too.
Cause I feel good. To me, I'm like.
Now this is the smallest you've been in a minute.
What, are you in the ones?
I don't remember you being that small in high school.
What did you get up to?
You know what I got? Well, I got up to 237.
Did you really?
Yeah, like in the last year.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And what are you currently?
Well, this morning, boys, the scale said 179.
That's crazy.
You was at 237 and now you 179. Now that's ridiculous because I'll never see the ones again. Like that's.
You'll see the ones.
No.
Yeah, you will.
Hey, seeing the one. 220 is about 215
what did
to
you
220.
Play at though?
215.
Okay.
In the league,
right.
215. At college, 205.
So like, what were you as a freshman in college?
185.
So I think you can get back to like 195.
If you want no carbs.
No carbs.
Yeah, no carb diet.
You know how hard that is?
It's devastating.
I tried the no bread thing, the keto diet. Man, I never realized how much stuff had bread in it.
Everything. Milk.
Yeah. Like I was sitting there like,
there's no bread and milk.
I mean, it's carbs and milk though.
What
well,
can
yeah, but
you
it ain't
eat?
bread.
Carbs, I equate carbs to bread. If it got carbs in it, that means bread. That's liquid
Everything
bread.
has carbs.
Like what I'm saying.
Cheese don't.
Vegetables, fruits. If it has sugar, it's got carbs.
Yeah, I mean, but you can.
What do you do, McNuggets? What diet you on?
Purge.
I just eat.
So you just can't gain weight.
I struggle to gain weight.
I used to have that.
Eat
problem.
less, move more, man.
I used to have that problem right there.
Now listen, I got levels to it. Like there are certain levels where I know that if I get to this weight, it's a problem for people. If I get down, so when I get to about 300, I'm strong. 300, I'm mad strong, and I'm full.
Are you 300 right now?
No, I'm way over 300.
You over 300 pounds?
Yeah, I just
three what?
I'm like, man, I'm
really?
I'm
like three
I
to
thought you'd
cat?
be like 280.
No, I told you it's full me weight.
That's how I feel.
It's like women in leggings. You'd be like, them leggings look good. You'd be like,
bro. The leggings, it's like casing on sausage.
It is the biggest optical illusion. And you'd be like, man, she built in them leggings. I'm like, we're going to have to buy you some more of them, babe. But no, so for me, like 300, I'm strong. I can lift a lot of weights. I'm good. But when I start getting down to if I get into 280s, 285, that is hybrid weight. You know what I'm saying? Now I can hoop now. If I get to 265,
you saying we might stand you up on the end? You can
man,
drop into the flat.
I'm Thaddeus Gibson.
Okay.
Thaddeus Gibson.
Hey, listen, I was like, man, I was like, yo, man, I earlier than that, I'm Will Smith.
Oh my
you know what I'm saying?
goodness!
But when I get to about 260, I look like I'm 230. and then I'm in club weight.
The thing is I'm gonna lose 20 pounds and I'm gonna still look the same, and that's the part that really bothers me. Like, it's not gonna, like, what I look like right now. It looks like I accept what I look 220. Like, that's if I lose 20 pounds, I'm gonna still look the same.
You know it's devastating, and here's how you know when you gain weight, and it's just like when you get older, is when your moneymaker jeans ain't fitting the way that you want them to. We all got a pair of jeans that you just got.
Oh, them joints you just have so comfortable.
And you tell your girl, do not touch them.
Listen to me.
These are
that's
self-cleaning.
That's what got me on the fact that I gotta
ones
lose
you
weight
wear like 20 times in a row.
In a row
without washing them.
You're like, these is
because
clean.
you're like, well, you miss some.
I've been a 34 my entire life.
And then
I had to go buy some 36 jeans.
Oh no, you had to cop some more.
Yeah, that's why I said, this is the line is drawn. Like, it's ridiculous. It's done now.
You had to get to school that way on the gear.
I had to go buy like 3 pairs of jeans.
Man, I can give you some old gear of mine.
No, I'm good because I'm about to lose all my weight. Them 34s, I got like 10 pairs of 34s. They getting worn.
You need some Lulu 20 or 34s. I got tons. They do not fit me.
Send them my way.
Hey,
I actually do have some gear if you want.
we got a good. Steve.
Steve.
Wide action.
You gonna cut this?
I do have a question.
Go ahead.
If I can have the floor.
Go ahead.
This morning I received a text message about how Friday's a different show, and how today I need to wear a collared shirt.
Oh, they
and
will
no
be
hats.
taking their hats off for the TV show. Do not worry.
Okay, I'm just curious.
We'll see.
Since when this rule come back?
Since when I wore my hat on TV
Listen,
so many
this
times.
is the first Friday I've ever been on the show.
They hit you with the.
It's the last 30 minutes of the show. That's the difference.
Okay.
Yes, that's the.
So we about to roll through
Okay.
the regular, but the last 30 minutes, since it's on KYC, you got to look more professional.
Oh, I don't got no haircut.
I ain't got one either.
Y'all got to tell black people in advance, bro. We got to get lines and
it's not
everything.
happening.
Gee, you have not worn a hat on TV other than your sombrero hat, which.
Oh, I wore a
I
hat.
don't wear. I don't wear
a hat on TV the last 3 times I've been on Fridays.
I done had a
hat
Peter
on.
Pan hat on. I came in a whole spacesuit 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, but that played. That worked in like the I'm going to church
black
fit.
people that take it.
Well, you got to tell black people.
I'm just saying. I got the dress code warning this morning.
Dustin, you nailed it. I'll just tell you that you nailed it.
What you mean? What you said?
I
we not.
Well, you guys are fine. You're fine. But I mean, I had to put on I had to do my hair. My hair's ridiculous because it's long and I have a mullet and all these things.
Oh, you said because you usually have a hat on.
I always
too.
wear a hat, and
I see what they did. See, y'all messed it up.
They messed you up because I broke that rule. I broke that rule 2 years ago.
I'm fine with it. I'm just curious.
Do you remember the hatless days?
Oh my gosh, them hatless days, man.
I got that off I got that rule thrown out like 2 years ago.
It's coming back at 12:30. Enjoy for the next hour and 22 minutes because we're going hatless at 12:30.
Hey, y'all gotta find. If we gonna do that, y'all gotta find me a brush.
I had to say
y'all gotta find me a car.
I need to go to the car and get my brush out the car.
This is gonna be like picture day when they used to give out combs and all the black people looked around like, what are we gonna do with these?
I need a brush.
We need a
I
brush.
need my brush out the car. That's
we gonna.
We could have Earl go grab that if we need it, or Ant. We could send Ant to do it. But if the Browns don't win, no hats. That's the rules. Browns ain't won in months.
Yeah, man.
Well, listen, we
when I die, I'm getting buried with a hat on. So
well, listen.
Better hope the Browns win that week.
Joe Bitonio is over here talking about, listen, it all depends if he coming back if they Browns die this year. Joe Bitonio messing around. He said the same thing. He said what Myles Garrett said. We'll come back and talk about that. McNuggets got to read first.
Yeah, we'll hear from Joel after a quick word from FanDuel. You can tackle all your NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5, get $250 in bonus bets if that first $5 bet wins. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to join today. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. We heard Myles Garrett's comments on Monday. Joe Bitonio asked if he also needed to see some sort of contingency plan from the Browns in 2025 to stick around. Bitonio said he doesn't want to be traded. He'll retire a Brown no matter what. It's just a matter of when. So Mary Kay asked him yesterday, just like with Myles, do you need to see some sort of plan in place from this organization so they can contend next year to help make your decision? Here's what Joel Bitonio said in response to that.
Yeah, I want to, the goal now, like you're in year 11, year 12, you want to try and win games. Like, it's hard to go out there and go have 3 wins right now. Like, that's been tough. Like, it's tough on your body. Like, you just don't feel as good on Monday when you're losing games. So it's part of the process, and you'd love to hear what the plan is, going forward and kind of see where we're at, see how much winning you can do. I don't know specifically with Joe Thomas, but he was like in the start/middle of a rebuild when he was retiring, and I don't know if that played a factor or if he was just done anyway. But you see that sometimes with guys where it's like, what do they have, coming back and stuff like that. But that's all stuff I'm going to worry about in the off season. Right now, I got a game to play, and we got to lock in because they have some good players up front.
So not exactly word for word the same as Myles, but the same sentiment. Gee, it's Myles. It is Joel. We heard Denzel say he's not important enough to see the Browns playing, so he'll be looking over Myles' shoulder when they show him. What do you make of the Browns' arguably 3 biggest veteran stars, not named Nick Chubb, he's not healthy right now, but the 3 current guys still playing, all kind of echoing the similar sentiment to what Myles said last week?
I mean, guys, I think it's par for the course. This is what happens when you play on bad teams. Like, I haven't played in the NFL, but, when I was in college, we went 1-10 one year, and I just saw I was a freshman, and the rest of the people that on the team were seniors and veterans, right? And so, like, after my redshirt year, I saw the way that we looked when we won 8 games. And then we go to the next year, we have a coaching change, we go 1-10. And I just remember being out there, and I just remember what business decisions started to look like. Because it's like, you have structure, you got some sort of, the leadership guys had everybody returning, everybody was coming back. And then after you went like 1-6, you start to see dusting people in the workforce.
Yeah.
You start seeing people like, cats stop lifting. People got this.
Those like optional lifts on a Tuesday, man.
Them civilian bodies was alive and well. People was like, yeah, I got to get in the suit jacket, especially you play for a MAC team. You ain't going to the league. Cats just checked smooth out. It wasn't no pro day. It was like Cats was just like carrying more books. I'm like, dang. When you start losing and it's cold outside,
it's the worst.
It's the worst feeling in the world, fellas. It just is.
It's just depressing. And then imagine trying to tackle somebody when it's that cold outside. But no, in all seriousness, to Joel's point, well served. He deserves to win. He's been here for damn near a decade, right? Mm-hmm. So he deserves to be on a winning team. It's a good comparison to Joe Thomas. Like Joel Bitonio, probably not a Hall of Famer, but one of the best Browns offensive linemen ever. Mm-hmm. I think his way of going about it was a little more, I don't know, he just, Myles can say whatever the hell he wants. He's Myles Garrett. Mm-hmm. He can be the guy that can say, he can pound his chest all he wants. He's the dude. He's going to the Hall of Fame one day. Joel Bitonio's more, and also it's offensive lineman versus a pass rusher. So I get it though. These guys every single day come to work, and when you don't win, it is the most miserable experience. I've never been on teams as bad as the Browns, but I was on a couple of bad teams, teams that were under 500, 7-9, in those Decembers,
4-12
Sundays or 4-12. Yeah, I mean those Sundays and Mondays suck. And the Tuesdays suck. It's brutal, and eventually, and I hate to say it, you become a loser.
Yeah.
You take on loser characteristics, not because you're a loser person, but it's impossible not to. We're human beings.
You start going to the drills, you start tapping your dude. Take it easy, bro.
That's called brother-in-law.
That was a long time ago.
You start brother-in-law a little bit more.
Hey, come on, man. You coming out the gates too fast right now. You fresh.
Hey, man, listen, hey, let's get a good engage. Then we lock
That's a fact right there. Then we're going to get a good pop, and you know what? We just going to run our feet a little bit, but not too hard. You know what I'm saying?
And it's the equal amount.
Make sure you line up with me so we know when it's time to go. We already made up our mind what we owe.
No one's winning the drill.
Yeah, no, we go. It's a draw. Listen, it's
guys
a
know.
shame. When I listen to these clips and listen to Joel, Myles, and Denzel, to me, it's a shame that this is where we at. Like, it really is. You know, you think about last year, just the season that they had, and I really was drinking the Kool-Aid. Like, I really was on some, like, you know what? They finally figured it out. You know, having Jim Schwartz come in and bringing that aggressiveness. You seen they had a different swag about themselves, not just the defense, but that entire team just had a different confidence about the way they went out on Sundays. And I knew coming into this season, it'd be kind of tricky because last year they kind of crept up on people. You know, when last year it was like, oh, it's the Browns, you know, like it's the Browns, same old Browns. Like, we're gonna go out there, blah blah blah. And the Browns went out there and was hitting people in the mouth. Mm-hmm. This year, it was like the league was on notice. Like, hey, you seen what they was on last year, so you know what to expect from them this year. And they just didn't respond the same way. And it's crazy that you make some staff changes on offense, and your offense comes out and looks like this. And due to the fact that your offense looks like this, like, people can say what they want to say, and I'll be the first to tell you, as a defensive player, yes, my job is to go out there and get stops. And all of us, we all went out there, and our thing was get stops. They don't score, they don't win. But I won't lie to you. When you see your offense continue to go 3 and out, it does get to you. Like, you just be like, dude, we just got off the field. Like, you can't give me one first down.
It messes with
mess
with your psyche.
So, like, I see why, like, the defense kind of took a step back this year.
Finger pointing starts.
Yeah, like, I see why the defense took a step back this year, but, like, the fact that we are at the point now to where you so handicapped to where, like, your players is like, and they doing right. I'll never forget my last year in in San Fran. Sherm was like, I'm about to go right upstairs and I'm going to talk to John. And he got to show me the plan, or I'm asking for my release. Because we was like, I can't remember what we was our last year, but we weren't good. And he was like, I need to know the plan. So that was the first time I heard. So when I hear Myles say that, it made me think of Sherm said, because, like, I think the very next year they went to the Super Bowl. So, like, the difference is I don't know what they gonna tell him. Like, I've been sitting here for literally since Myles said that last Friday. I've been trying to figure out a way, like, to what will Andrew say to Myles that he gonna be like, this is what we gonna do in this offseason. Boom, 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 and we gonna be better because of this. Like, what can you say with no money?
And and I think the biggest one is, guys, we didn't all played on teams where it hasn't necessarily been like the team is like super bad, like you're bad everywhere, because then you can understand it. Like, yeah, offense ain't no good. We don't got receivers, or we need more playmakers, or we just shot up front. What they talking about the plan is, they're like, no. What's up with this quarterback? No. We didn't all play with, like, quarterbacks where it's just like, and it's a thing. It's like an innate sense, right? It's one of them things where we talk about if you got kids. If you lose your kid in the mall, every parent that had that sinking feeling. We've all started quarterbacks who it don't matter what's going to happen in the game, that dude is going to find you a way to lose this game. And it's the worst feeling in the world.
And we all, in our mind, have a name right here.
Right, and it's just a guy that pops up. From high school to college, and we're not going to say it.
And I've got a name right now that I'm not going to say.
We're not going to say it.
Somehow it will get back to that person.
Guaranteed. Like, and they know it.
They still know. They have to live with it.
They know they screwed such and such year up, and they know what their shortcomings were.
They know that they don't want the ball down 5 in the fourth quarter.
At all.
But the crazy thing is, it's like so many players regress this season. Like, to me, the only player that had a good year is Jerry. It's Judy. That's it. Like, outside of Judy, Myles do what he do and Denzel do what he do. But outside of them 3 names,
do you guys think, like, it's because he's when you're new, like, when you guys go, you've been on new teams where you play in the league and you're like, okay, I was here for a couple of years, got to know people. But there's a new sense of urgency when you're new and you're a free agent and you're somewhere. Does that kind of, lead to you thinking that's why Jerry Jeudy had a breakout year because he had something to prove and he was new?
I think the fact that I think Jerry Jeudy, the reason he played so well this year is because in his mind, once he got traded for Denver, he was thinking to himself, look, the Browns took a chance on me to get me out of Denver because I didn't want to be there no more. And they paid me before I stepped foot on the field.
Sight unseen.
So, I owe them. That, they gave me the bag that I kind of wanted. Yeah. And they got me out of the situation. So, I kind of owe them to go as hard as I can. Plus, I need to prove to the Mark Slairs of the world and all the people that said the Steve Smiths of the world that I ain't who y'all think I am. It really was the situation in Denver. So, I think that's why he went out and had the season he had. And on top of that, you knew that Kevin, Ken, and probably from the top down, get number 3 the ball. We got to justify us paying him this contract. But in the midst of doing those things, David Njoku was hurt, and he took a step back. The offensive line took a step back. Nick Chubb never got back to who he was supposed to be. The quarterback situation was abysmal. Then you flip it to the defensive side of the ball. Give me somebody that was productive. Mike Hall as of lately. I even give you Isaiah McGuire. He got his little moments here and there. Myles, Denzel, and those 2 names.
That's it.
JOK, we lost our second best defense, third best defensive player. Some people call him the most important, JOK, which we don't even know if he'll ever come back.
Mary Kay just tweeted about JOK.
What'd she say?
Browns linebacker coach Jason Tarver said JOK neck stays involved by texting the linebacker thread all the time, offering tips to younger linebackers.
Well, that's not
Quote, we're all rooting for him as he travels to different doctors around the country, trying to get everything he needs in his recovery. I feel worse and worse.
I was about to say that doesn't sound great. So you telling me right now there has not been a diagnosis? He's still going around trying to get different opinions because whatever the diagnosis was, he didn't want to hear.
I'm just reading what Mary Kay tweeted there.
So he trying to go find somebody that can come up with an answer.
He's a pretty smart guy. I'm guessing that he wants to see every expert he can before he makes a decision on his health for his long term. Don't you think?
And how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel
about his chances coming back.
I don't know that it changes my opinion of it. I think that he's just doing his due diligence here, and why would you not? Especially this day and age. I mean, you see these dudes.
Well, usually,
and you're an ex-player. I'm an ex-player.
Well, usually how it works is the team's gonna give you the diagnosis, and then you're gonna go find out who's the best doctor in that area, and you're going to go see him and get that diagnosis.
Well, there's always going to be a doctor that's probably going to give you a better outlook,
Yeah, I agree with that.
Better, so that's great, but you also want to know, worst case, what's going to happen here. I'm sure there's a doctor that says, you'll be fine, you can play. But they're like, there is this risk. Well, then I want to go talk to the 6 more experts.
So let me ask y'all, personally, from what you guys know from playing in the league, do people's careers end more because they lose skill sets or something happens to them and they're like, ooh, that injury never got better and this is the reason I can't play? Case in point, with you two, did you have an injury where it was this is kind of not getting better and it's limiting my ability to play at this certain
that
level?
happens. Yeah. That happens probably to the majority of players to where they suffer some type of injury. And, well, first of all, depending on where you are, if you was talented and you suffer some type of injury, you do lose a step. You do. And depending on what it is, if it's an Achilles or something like that, some people never.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, you said yours was a hip.
I had a sports hernia when I was in college, and it was on my right side, and now to this day my right side is more tight than my left side. So that's why when I played corner, I always preferred to be on the left side.
And yours was a concussion, am I correct?
No,
migraines.
I had the white corner syndrome.
Yeah, okay.
And then some injuries on top of that.
You can't, if you got the white corner syndrome and you got injuries, it's hard to come back from that because they're
can't play.
They're like, hey man, we already was taking a chance on you already with the white corner syndrome, but Plus, you can't we feel like you can't run as
They
good.
making a comeback, but y'all listen. Y'all got
Yeah,
y'all.
I wish I was coming out now.
I was about
You'd
to
be great. Cooper DeJean got y'all lit.
I'd have been a viral sensation.
Robert Blankenship,
They
Cooper
be showing
DeJean.
Adam Archuleta was I think the first poster child, because
he was because he was like doing these crazy workouts, freak athlete, all these.
he
things.
was the first dude I ever seen doing plyometrics.
Yes.
Like doing quick twitch stuff. And I'm like, man, this dude is a monster. He dunked in the basket.
Oh, yeah.
Archuleta.
He was
freak
Man,
athlete,
what a
man.
name,
he was
boy.
he was
What
that guy.
What a player he was, man.
I will say this: I've had multiple neck injuries. I got 3 herniated discs that's not operable, right? And I just refuse to get a neck fusion. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm just not going to do it. I'll just deal with the consequences.
We need a lot more cameras in here.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like this. You're gonna have to be. G. Bush gonna be like, is this camera 3? Yeah, let me talk to camera. Arms don't be working. Your breathing is different. And I'm gonna tell you
You
this.
sound like Ace Boogie.
Yeah,
Shot
hey,
the head,
I'm
baby.
breathing different.
I'm breathing
B.
different.
I'm
baby.
breathing different.
You know what I'm
Because
saying?
you got C1, 2, 3, 4. There's a reason why you got different people where if you unfortunately become paralyzed, certain vertebrae deal with in certain parts of your spine deal with certain motor functions, and one of them is your involuntary functions when it talks about breathing. But with JOK, and I don't know his prognosis, and like I said, I was really scared for him when I saw it happen. It hit me like you don't know. It don't look like that's some injury that you just wake up from and walk around and say, okay, I got a stinger and come back. Mm-hmm. It's different. He's gonna have to tackle people for a living. So prayers to JOK, but for selfish reasons, we're thinking about a team next year, which is scary, without one of your best linemen, one of your best defensive ends, and one of your best playmakers in JOK. And that's how you could have a Browns defense that go from devastating to we don't know. McNuggets?
We're going to get to our next topic. If you want to see the Browns-Dolphins game this weekend, your last chance to see this Cleveland Browns team at home in 2024, you better be using the Game Time app to get your tickets online. Game Time Picks filters out all the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats. So you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Ant's on the Game Time app right now. He's got it pulled up. Ant, what's the cheapest ticket you can get to this Browns-Dolphins game this weekend?
Section 528 in the upper bowl, you can get a ticket for $11 a piece.
$11 a piece with the Game Time discount. That's essentially free. With Game Time Picks, it gives you priority picks, all-in pricing, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee. Make sure you're getting the best deal online, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. You can take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. All right, guys, for the next topic, this is a complete hypothetical, but I wanted to ask this because Tyvis is with us today, and he has some personal knowledge of the upcoming question. Pete Carroll announced that he has some interest in returning to coaching. Adam Schefter tweeted out on Christmas Day that Pete Carroll is interested in returning, has interest in the Bears job in particular. We'll see if the Bears have reciprocated interest. And that led to some people online in the Browns community saying, Pete Carroll, come to Cleveland. So for the sake of this conversation, if the Browns were to move on from Kevin Stefanski, I'm not saying they will, but if they were, Tyvis, would Pete Carroll be a good fit for this Browns team, and is he an upgrade over Kevin Stefanski?
Heck yeah. Pete Carroll is all about competing. The thing that Pete did, I think, I don't know Kevin, personally, obviously I've had a couple of interactions with him, but I don't know personally what goes on. The thing what Pete Carroll does is he makes the environment, he makes the job so fun that people want to come to work. It's so much energy there. You got music blasting. He jokes around. They got the basketball hoops and meeting rooms and all those things. He makes the work environment fun. That it's so fun that guys be competing. Like the fun part is competing against people. Like to come in there in meeting rooms every day out of nowhere. You sitting in team meeting rooms. He going over practice and he goes, you know what? Today we got matchups today. This is what we looking out for today. And he puts your picture up versus a wide receiver. This is the matchup of the day right here. Tyvis versus Doug Baldwin. And you be sitting there like, out of all the people, like, now I'm hyped for practice now.
Right.
Because they going to come in the next day and they going to say, remember I told y'all that matchup? Let's see how it went.
Let's see
and they going to pull the
one-on-one.
clips. Oh, man. So it's like a lot of energy. And I just think this Browns team right now, where they are, like, they need to compete. They need to find that competitive spirit again. They need to have that fun again. Because I think right now, as we talk about the Browns organization right now, you hear them talk about it's not fun coming here after a loss like that. You bring that competitive spirit, that fun environment back in there. Now guys is going as absolutely hard as they can. Now it's, I need to be here. Like, I don't want to go anywhere else. I love it here so much because I'm having so much fun. I enjoy the coaches. I enjoy my teammates. We're winning games. Like, I don't want to go anywhere else. I've never want to ask for a trade. Like, when you think about the Seattle days, very seldomly did you hear people like, I got to get out of Seattle. Like, that wasn't the case. It was like, I really don't never want to leave because I'm scared of what I know the next organization ain't going to be like this. So it's something about Pete that he could, if that was the case, I think the Browns could turn around. Now, obviously, you'd have to do some coaching staff and figure out who you're going to get for certain like offense and defensive coordinators and things like that. But as far as the head coach goes, I think he brings the right stuff that you need to get organizational. Because it wasn't like Seattle was great when he first got there, but he took them and became very successful very fast. And I think Pete does a really good job of recognizing talent. You know, some of the times you get people and they don't love the game of football. Like some people think about Jed Wills. People say Jed don't love the game of football. He's not really that big of a competitor like that. Pete won't make that mistake because that's all Pete talks about is competitive. Does this guy love the game? And if you don't, why would we take you to begin with?
Dustin, do you think his age and experience will be would it be a plus or a minus? Because Pete Carroll, how old is he, McNuggets?
78 or something, right?
Yeah,
He's 73 years old.
Wow. That's wild.
I don't look at numbers of how old you are as an indicator of this guy can or can't do something. Because I have people in my life that I see all the time that can move better than people that are 30 years old and they're in their 70s. So like I don't think that age number matters.
Don't worry
because
about
in his mind he's 35 years old.
I'm gonna say he's gonna be out there chewing.
You know what I mean? Like
he gonna chew that double bubble.
100%.
He gonna have them air monarchs.
He'll have his gloves on.
He gonna have the gloves on, throwing it around.
Yeah. So, I mean, listen. If he was in his 80s, maybe a different story. Because it's just asking a lot of a person to take on a job that's going to require multiple years to build something. But Pete, I think he's probably got like one, 4-year run left in him.
Yeah, probably.
Before he would like to ride off in the sunset. Is Cleveland the right fit? I don't think it's the right fit. I don't know that. Frankly, if I were him, I probably would not want to take on something this.
So you think
taxing
that it's a massive? You looking at it as a massive?
Well, I feel like that's for any head coach though.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a tough job.
You gonna come here and be handicapped? Can't really make no moves.
Don't know if you what kind
Myles,
of power you got.
Myles, Joel, and Denzel might be gone, so you really start from scratch, and you got to wait 2 years before you can really do anything.
That's kind of wild. I didn't really never look at it because we're so used to saying that the Browns are one of the youngest teams because we rebuilt in 15, 16, took them L's. We're used to saying, hey, we got the most cap space. Mm-hmm. We got the youngest roster. 25, under 25, we got guys there. And we're used to saying, okay, well, we really don't need a quarterback in the draft. We haven't even checked the draft because we had Baker at one point in time who was the first overall pick. That didn't work. You go back and you get Deshaun Watson, you're trying to figure out, okay, well, hopefully he gets back to Deshaun Watson stuff. But this is really, this is a rebuild. There is a lot of question marks. The running game ain't what it used to be. At least you could say they got one of the best offensive lines in Nick Chubb. That doesn't look like that's going to be a situation. And if you Pete Carroll, the first thing I'm looking at as a coach is saying, all right, who my quarterback? And he might be asking the same questions Myles Garrett is. Hey, Myles, ask him what they going to do at quarterback because there does not seem to be no clean-cut answer to that. Like, by the way, I think we got to stop talking about Sam Darnold. Stop acting as if Sam Darnold is going to be on the open market. I feel 100% guaranteed the Minnesota Vikings, if they win a playoff game, or if they go, God forbid, go to the NFC Championship game, he's on that roster. He's about to get franchised.
It'll pivot from
He'll be on
Sam
the team.
Darnold
He
to
on that
J.J.
squad.
McCarthy.
Yeah, he's definitely on that squad. So when we're looking at these guys, there's not a readily available answer. And if I'm going to be a coach and I'm at his age and I've coached, and I don't know this to be a fact, you know, Pete Carroll, it seems from the outside looking in that he had a lot of power in Seattle.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if he's going to have that same level of power here in Cleveland. So why would you think about doing that if you used to operate in a certain way? And like you said, it's competition. He wouldn't have probably let Joe Flacco roll out if Deshaun Watson was here. He probably would have brought him back to compete. So I'm with Dustin. I don't think it's a move you want to make in your early 70s, even if you are young. You just don't want the headache. Maybe there's other roster positions, other places out there that's a better look for you, especially if they do got a quarterback in place. So it's intriguing, but also when you talk about the head coach, maybe Stefanski is the only one they can get right now. Like, if you
man. Yeah, because I don't know why would I. If I'm a guy that's looking to get back into coaching, why would I take the Browns job?
I don't see very much.
Because this is the thing. You take the Browns job, right? Say they give you 4-year contract. You know, everybody knows that when you become a head coach, you get 2 years.
It's 2 in the possible.
What did I just tell you? The money ain't freeing up for 2 years.
Yeah,
so
right.
why I ain't gonna do nothing for 2 years.
It's not an appealing job. You don't have a quarterback in your cap strap.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can't do nothing for 2 years.
And then think about this, Dustin. What if you come in, and God forbid you do this, but you come in and you say, well, I don't have any other options. I think the best option is playing Deshaun Watson again. Now you just inherited all of the ill will, all of the vitriol, all of the bad baggage that the other regime got for coming to the same conclusion.
Yeah.
And now it's like you start off on a bad foot. You're like, but listen, bro, I inherited this. Like, you know, this wasn't my decision. We just didn't have any other options, so we got to play them. It's just it's a tough look. It's just a tough look, man.
Which is why most likely Stefanski's back. Because it's I think you probably just keep it status quo because the job has to sort of sort itself out over the next 12 to 16 months in terms of what the team's going to be, who you draft, and where the team's going to go in the 2026 season. Let's be honest. I mean, 2025 is probably going to be a really, really rough year for the Cleveland Browns.
You know what, McNuggets? I didn't think of it that way. Maybe that's it ain't. They bring him Stefanski back because he's the greatest thing to sliced bread. It's the fact that, hey, who's really signing up for that?
Or I mentioned this on I think a post-game show with UG. I said if the Browns are intent on drafting a quarterback high, like if they are gung-ho, we're going to find a way to get Ward, Sanders, whoever, then I think you can replace the coach because the new coach would be tied to that rookie quarterback and at least in lockstep with that as opposed to what we're seeing in Chicago with Caleb Williams right now, who's going to be on his 4th offensive coordinator in 4 years. If the Browns are okay drafting best position available, the end, the tackle, running back, receiver, whatever else that may be, then you can keep Stefanski around because the quarterback you draft next season will then be either aligned with a new head coach or Stefanski rebounds and we feel a lot better about his potential moving forward. I'm not sure if you guys kind of feel the same way on that.
It's rough because we know that what usually happens, if you have a 3-and-something year, that means you got to overachieve next year. If they go 3-and-something this year, what do you think Stefanski has to show for him to be even around throughout next year? Because you're going to start on a very short leash if you go 3-13. And especially here's the thing, the reason I think you can't bring back Deshaun Watson is if you trot back Deshaun Watson and Kevin Stefanski back out there, you're gonna have a double storm. Because some people are gonna be upset that Stefanski is still here, and a lot of people are gonna be mad that Deshaun Watson is starting the season again. And that could be including Myles Garrett and Joe Bitonio. And that's assuming if they tell them that plan, both those Bitonio retires and Myles Garrett says, "I want out of here." How is that attainable? Like how could that work, Tyvus?
It won't. It won't. That's what I'm saying. Like they put themselves in a situation to where it's like that's what I'm telling you. I will be interested to see what they like if Myles doesn't request a trade. I want to know we'll find out, I guess, as the offseason goes, what they just said they was going to do. But right now, it's hard to tell because you ain't got no money.
Would you sell your soul for?
Sell my soul? I wouldn't sell it for nothing.
Well, I mean.
I wouldn't sell my soul for nothing.
Hyperbole. Would you two seriously think about Justin Fields or Kirk Cousins? And I'm going to start with Kirk Cousins. Because it's easier to sell Kirk Cousins if I came to Myles Garrett and said, look, Kirk played terrible last year. But so did Deshaun. Kirk played garbage last year. But so did Jameis Winston.
Jeremy Fowler was on a podcast with Kevin Clark this morning and made it seem very, very, very likely Kirk Cousins ends up here, just to give you the heads up.
And at least with Kirk Cousins, I watched the quarterback show. Kirk Cousins, high character guy. He's one of those dudes where it's like, have you ever gone from a guy that, just plays quarterback and he goes out and it seems like he puts as much time and effort into the game plan as you, but you play a different position?
Yeah.
And you be like, hey, dog, you with me kicking it. And you're a quarterback. That shouldn't happen. I'm a D lineman. I only got 2 reads.
I need to know.
I need to know. You see what I'm saying?
You don't have the time that I have.
You don't got that leeway. But then you get another quarterback that come in, and then he's damn near a graduate assistant. Like he old, he married, he got a kid, he don't go nowhere. He invite the offensive lineman over. He in the playbook.
That was like Jimmy G when I was in San Fran. That was like when they got Jimmy G over C.J. Beathard.
You was like, wow.
My boy C.J. too.
You like looking at it, you like, well, look, man. And then Myles Garrett meet with him, and then Kirk Cousins give him that good old, that speech about what he done been through and climbing a mountain and grabbing a rope and all that good stuff. And you come away and be like, you know what? We might be able to. He said, I wasn't right there. I had the Achilles. I'm putting in the work right now to be back, and I guarantee you, this is going to be the best roster I played on right here, Myles.
That's a lie.
But it sounds good from Kurt. Kurt will have you. He done came from praise and worship service on Tuesday night. Kurt will have you in here being like, you know what? We might got something with this.
What is Kirk Cousins' numbers this season?
This season,
we already told you he played terrible.
He threw for 3,500 yards. He played 14 games.
Okay.
3,500 yards, 18 touchdowns, leads the NFL with 16 picks.
Okay.
Over his last, because he had a stretch where he played pretty well, but over his last 5 games, he threw 1 touchdown and 9 picks.
Okay. So how many picks Jameis throw?
He has 12 this year. In fewer games.
Listen, but he had more touchdowns.
You want to go from a Pentecostal pastor to a Baptist pastor.
There it is. Listen, sometimes, listen.
Okay, what about
in his church services? No one's catching the Holy Ghost. Everyone feels good about being a good person.
What about Kevin's last year with Minnesota?
That's another thing.
What was Kirk's number?
That was 19,
Kevin
right?
Stefanski.
Yeah, I think he became the coach in 20, so 19.
Yeah, so 19. Kirk played 15 games, threw for 3,600 yards, 26 touchdowns, 6 interceptions.
Listen,
that's Kevin Stefanski's wet dream.
Talk that Kevin Stefanski, Kirk Cousins connection. And then you say, I'm playing.
I'm devil's advocate
right now.
All I know is that right now, with the talent that he got, with Drake London, Mooney, Kyle Pitts, and Bijan Robinson, with a pretty good offensive line,
they ain't running the playbook.
You better get out of here with that.
I'm just kidding. They're not running. They're not running in Atlanta what he's comfortable with. He can't really move like that. He got the Achilles. You need to be able to turn your back.
So when if I see the Browns acquire Kirk Cousins, the very next thing from ESPN, Bleacher Reporter, NFL is the Browns fire Ken Dorsey.
Yeah, that's happening. Yeah, I don't think Dorsey's back regardless. Do you?
Probably not.
Yeah.
But I mean, what's the point of even having the conversation? I know why we're having the conversation.
Yeah.
I'm being sarcastic, but like Kirk Cousins, if he comes here, we're not winning anything with Kirk Cousins.
Oh no, it's a beautiful smoke screen. It's an 8-9 smoke screen. Maybe 7-10, 7-10, or whatever. 7-11. What is the? How many games they played? 18 or something.
Play 17 games.
Okay, well, listen, 7-10.
It's just a reincarnated Josh McCown situation.
Yes, it is.
You know, you got a veteran quarterback who's a good guy who can, control the locker room, can manage a game, but not going to win you games.
No.
I don't think Kirk Cousins anymore, certainly not with the weapons that they have in Cleveland, can put a team on his back and go out there and just throw for 350 and 4 touchdowns.
Do you think the optics are so bad in Cleveland that the fan base will take that over the alternative that's here?
Well, and for what it was with Deshaun,
Yes.
and for how bad it was. I mean, look, let's face it, man. When Flacco came in, look what happened. I mean, fans at least felt like for those 5 weeks or whatever it was that they could root for the quarterback. They felt like this guy gave them a chance to actually look like an offense. Cousins would probably do the same thing. In terms of like stabilize, allow people to actually have the game on and not
Right.
and not want to vomit watching the offense play.
Yeah, it's rough. He's not the answer. But if you try to, I'm just trying to say what they would
with
look
Winston
at.
this year. I mean, people got on board with Winston after the Ravens game.
They would. I mean, people. I think at this point just want competent football.
The bar is very low.
With
Very low.
with one quarterback.
Y'all,
I'm just keeping it a buck.
it definitely is low.
We're going
though.
to talk to Shaun King in about 15 minutes. He could give us some insights on what he thinks Kirk Cousins still has left in the tank. But we're going to talk Cavs for a sec, guys.
Thank
after
you.
a quick word from Hillsdale College. Time's our most precious commodity, so don't waste it scrolling through the same mind-numbing content for hours and hours. How can you spend it more wisely to improve yourself? Well, our sponsor, Hillsdale College, is offering more than 40 free online courses, including Constitution 101, the meaning and the history of the Constitution, Introduction to Free Market Economics, and the rise and fall of the Roman Republic. All of Hillsdale's courses are self-paced, so you can start wherever, tune in whenever, and you can go deeper with readings, quizzes, or discussions. Simply just to enjoy the lectures is also an option. Go right now to hillsdale.edu/lockdown to enroll. There's no cost. It's easy to get started. That is hillsdale.edu/lockdown to register. hillsdale.edu/lockdown. So the Cavs start a 4-game West Coast road trip tonight against the Denver Nuggets. They also play Golden State, the Lakers, and the Mavericks on this West Coast road trip. The Mavericks do not have Luka Doncic, though. He'll be out for the next couple of weeks with a calf strain. If you're looking to really nitpick, and you have to seriously be looking to nitpick the Cavs' 26-4 start, the one thing you can say is they don't really have a true impressive road win on the resume. The Knicks game came early before they kind of figured it out. They lost, who else did they lose to on the road? Atlanta, or their other wins, their wins on the road. New York before they figured it out. Milwaukee before they kind of turned it around. You have to really be nitpicking. It's a minor caveat on the resume. They have a chance to prove some people wrong with some 4 quality opponents coming up. Dustin, what do you expect from the Cavs on this road trip, and are we going to learn anything about this squad from seeing them play 4 quality opponents on the road in consecutive fashion here?
Oh, there's no question. This is the biggest road trip of the season, the biggest test by far of the season. Not only are you playing good teams, really good players, superstar teams. I mean, like all those teams have players that scare you and that can take over a game.
Hall of Famers.
Hall of Fame players, absolutely. Great point. And the fact that they're on the road in the West Coast, those are tough. Those road trips are tough. I mean, it's a different time. It's way more difficult to be on the West Coast as opposed to being home, especially when you're here in the East Coast time zone. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think if we win those games, there was how many games? 4 or 5, Mikey?
4.
4.
It's 4.
So, honestly, man, if we split those games, I'd be thrilled.
I agree with you. It's something about, it's not just basketball, it's all sports. Anytime you go to the West Coast, weird stuff happens.
Yep.
With the Guardians, the Cavs, the Browns. Anytime we go to the West Coast, we don't do well.
Yeah, and we have to wake up and read about it, too.
Yeah, that's true, too.
Because a lot of times we're not staying up till 1 a.m.
They ain't coming on to probably 10 o'clock. But I agree with you. If they split those games, I'm happy with that. Obviously, they've been playing really good basketball. The Denver one is, out of all those, is the one that probably scares us the most because of Jokic and what he's doing, even though the rest of his supporting staff has been all right. Jamal Murray, I don't know what's going on with him. They
don't like him in Denver.
He couldn't score the other night on Christmas. He couldn't score.
Yeah, he had 13 points. It blew my parlay. That's how I know.
Same.
I took him on the over and he blew it. I was sick. I should have took him on the under. But anyways, yeah, the Denver one scares me because of the Joker and all of those things. And I feel like even though we beat them the last time, I think he still was really good in that game. So obviously he could take over, and him being at the center position just makes it just all difficult. When you talk about Golden State, I'm not really worried about the Golden State unless Steph just shoot lights out like he did on Christmas where he dang near won them that game. Did y'all see that?
When he tied it up with the 35-footer?
Yeah. But he ain't really been doing that like that lately. I mean, obviously the Christmas game was good, but he's kind of not been the same. The Lakers, you don't know what to expect from the Lakers anytime.
They are so inconsistent.
Yeah.
And you don't know if LeBron's going to be healthy. You don't know if AD's going to be healthy.
LeBron might get you 30, but then he might get you 10. Like, it's ridiculous.
Right,
and then AD might play. He might play the whole game. He might play 2 minutes and just check out. It's weird. That's a weird one.
You could have a night where D'Angelo Russell gives you 35.
Yeah, so
you know what I mean? Like
the whole, like I said, it plays right into the West Coast trip. Like, you just don't know what to expect out there. So I don't know. I'm with Dustin. If they split it, I'm happy with that.
The only thing I'm worried about a little bit is the back-to-back. I think the back-to-back with the Warriors and the Lakers, I believe it's the 30th and the 31st.
It's the 30th and then New Year's Eve.
Okay,
so Monday, Tuesday, back-to-back.
So you got a Monday, Tuesday back-to-back. To me, I'm most interested in the Denver game because for me, I don't know why, it seems like Denver is like the blueprint kind of for what the Cavs are. Denver has a Joker, and I know he's like an MVP candidate. He's won multiple MVPs, Hall of Famer. So he's even a little bit better than what Donovan Mitchell is. But the other ancillary parts of when Denver was really rolling, they had guys coming off the bench. They had dudes. Murray, was a second fiddle type dude. I kind of compared him to Darius Garland in terms of like how many points he can give you and kind of the wild card. But for me, if they could come out of this thing, I'm a little greedy. If they come out 3-1, I'm ready to start calling them better than the Celtics.
So if they lose to Denver but they win the other 3, you good with that?
I don't care who they lose with. Like if they give me 3 of these. 3-1 on the West Coast, I'm ready to start saying they right in the mix with Denver. In the mix with the Celtics. And the Celtics lost the other night. How many games ahead is the Cavs in the Eastern Conference?
They lost to Philly, didn't they?
Lost to Philly.
They are 4 games up on the Celtics in the Eastern Conference now.
Man,
I won my parlay on that game.
I need them to keep
all the underdogs won.
I need them to keep their pedal, the pedal to the metal. I want that first seed in the worst way. I need that. Like, I need that in my back pocket. So, because I just keep imagining the Cavs, going to Boston, losing game 1, and then stealing home court in game 2 and getting them out of here.
You like that 4-1, huh?
Yeah, getting them out of here. Like, we stole one.
The Cavs beat the Celtics 4-1 in the playoffs. It ain't no stopping.
And that's another way I'd be feeling good about it. Can you imagine a scenario where the Cavs beat the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals and then lose in the finals?
Sure.
No, I don't feel that.
I don't see it.
I don't see it. Like,
OKC's legit.
But I don't see it. If it's an OKC,
if it's OKC, I'm gonna be hot.
Cavs better win.
I'm gonna be hot if they lose to OKC. Like, I get it, they're a good.
Cavs better win. I don't care what nobody
say. But don't you think? So let's compare.
They should beat OKC, or they could. Let me say that they could.
No, they
but
should.
OKC's good. I just don't want. I don't think it's fair to say.
Would you be disappointed?
Hell, if you reach the finals and lose to anybody, I'm gonna be disappointed.
But I would. So if they went to the finals,
your phrasing of the question was why you said, "Would I be surprised?" Was it surprised or shocked or something along those lines?
Yeah.
And I would not be surprised if the Cavs lost in the finals. I mean, it's the finals, and there's no great teams. The Cavs are a really good team.
I know. That's why I feel like the best team in the league is the Celtics. And if you beat the Celtics, you setting yourself up. Be like, man, we just beat the best team in the league.
So let me ask you this:
That better not be the mindset. Because you'll lose in the finals.
What if it's not? What if it's not the OKC? What if they matched up with Denver in the finals?
See,
Denver be favored.
I'm asking G. Would you be mad if they lost to Denver?
No, because Denver got Joker. Like the reason I would be mad is because I know that Joker is a Hall of Famer. Like I think he could push for Mount Rushmore.
SGA?
SGA is a beast, but somehow I got SGA and Donovan Mitchell on the same playing field.
That's fair.
You see what I'm saying? And then I go to Williams, and then I go to Darius Garland, and I'm like, well, listen, Williams. Would you take Williams over Garland?
Chet is out for the year, right?
I was going to ask about
No, Chet's coming back in a couple weeks.
So, okay, would you take Williams over Garland?
Different players, different positions. One's a bigger wing. You always take the bigger wing over small guard.
So cool. I'm taking Mobley over Chet though.
Mobley's over Chet. I would take you.
So now we 3-3. It's a wash so far. So now it comes down
to they're both deep and they both play defense.
And they both right. So
both have good coaches. It's an even match.
It's crazy.
It's a good matchup.
But
it may not be the ratings, the sexy
and nobody will watch it.
It's a fun series if that's what it comes down to.
But do you see why? Do you kind of see why I would say if they were playing a team as like Denver with Joker, I've seen Joker get 50, 20, and like 13, and just be dominant, and there's nothing you can do about it. So I wouldn't be that mad, but I think it's just because of the simple fact that these two teams are unknowns.
They beat the Mavs last year.
The Mavs, that's who it is.
But back to this West Coast swing. If they sweep the West Coast swing, does that change any? If they sweep it or they go 0-4, does that change the way you think about the Cavs?
They go 0-4. I'll be really disappointed. Yeah, it'll definitely give me some pause about what I think about the team and what they can do in the postseason. But if they go 4-0, it's going to make me feel even better about the team that I think is really good and has a chance to compete for a title. I just, some fans are living in this crazy world, the lunatic fringe world, where we believe that the Cavs are the greatest team we've ever seen and they're supposed to win every game. And I get it. I feel that way too when I watch them play. I feel like they should win every game or can win every game. But it's the NBA, man, and honestly, they could lose the 4 games. It'd give me the pause, like I just said, but they still could win a title. It's just 4 games. You know? It's a good test, though.
For me, this is sad. This is how I know I've been working with Bull way too much. I'm not saying the regular season's meaningless. I will say that to me, this portion of the regular season, I feel like after All-Star break, that's when teams really start locking down and stuff like that. So I'm really paused. It's great to cheer for them and see them do all these great things, but after All-Star break, that's when I really lock in and see what's going on.
It's funny you say that because I feel like it's after Christmas is when I watch and when I feel
because All-Star break, that's when everybody turn because them seeds that's 11, 10, 9, 8, like everybody we trying to get to the playoffs, not the play in. So people rev it up a little bit more.
I hear you. I just think you've got this period of time now where the NBA really picked up steam right around Christmas, and then
the season should start on Christmas.
It pushes through January and obviously through the All-Star break, which is in middle of February, excuse me. So I think this is a big stretch for the Cavaliers and what we think about them going forward. And this West Coast trip, just because of who they're playing and the stars that are going to be on the court, because they're going to face these stars in the postseason, and especially like Jokic. I mean, that's the one that scares me the most. I think he's the best player in the league.
Yeah.
Whoa, easy. Now, another thing is that also the trade deadline is usually right around All-Star break too. So I need to see trade. That's why I wait till after the All-Star break because the trades usually tend to happen. Guys are starting to gel with their new teams and things like that, and then I can judge what's going to be.
I think one of the things, and you give them credit, McNuggets, is one of the things that the Cavs did was they were able to keep most of their team together. They do have a new coach, but they're not adding new pieces and getting acclimated like New York and some other teams that may make moves at the deadline. So I think that's a added bonus to them as well. What do you got?
If they go 0-4, you have to just do a little pause,
damn,
what's up? That sucks. If they go 4-0, I already think they're a legit contender.
Right. So
I don't know what the tier above is, like a super legit contender. Like they're already in that elite tier. We talked about it yesterday, G.
Yeah.
I don't think it could change my opinion on how good this team could be because I already think they're as good as any team in basketball. If they go 1-4, I'll be a little disappointed, but it certainly wouldn't be the.
But you do have the Celtics as the favorite still.
Yeah, I think you have to beat the Celtics in the playoffs before you can.
Before you even, so nothing they can do during the regular season is not going to change that for you.
I wouldn't say nothing, but I mean, if you watched the game against Philly yesterday, they just played with their food. Like they could have beat Boston. If they play that same game 10 times, I think they win 9 out of 10. And last night they played with their food a little too long, and it was a little too little. It was too little, too late to make the comeback. But they're right in the same tier: Boston, Cleveland, Oklahoma City. In my opinion, it's those 3 teams and everyone else. So I don't know how you can get higher than being in the top tier right now. To me, it only they can only open our eyes to some flaws in the team. I just don't know how much better I think they can personally be. But we'll find out. It should be fun. They got the Nuggets tonight. 9 p.m. is tip-off. We're going to get back to talking a little Browns because we have Shaun King ready to join us. But first, a quick word from FanDuel. You can tackle all your NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5, get $250 in bonus bets if that first $5 bet wins. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats view live play-by-play and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to join today. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. And with that, we got Shaun King in today, usually a Wednesday guest, coming on with us on a Friday. And Shaun, DTR was not Shaun, how you doing, man? What's up?
You don't introduce that man like that?
You did him dirty.
He ain't gonna answer you.
So benching Jameis didn't solve all the problems? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. You're hearing that loud and clear, man. I listen, DTR, maybe I'm sounding crazy. I told Tyvis makes every little dig you make sound worse because he laughs hard about everything you say. So it make you look crazy that you're saying it. I said DTR might not be a professional quarterback. He might not be an NFL ready.
I've been trying to tell you guys this all year. The worst thing that happened to DTR is he had to play. It's better sometimes to have people think you can play and just keep getting paid than to go out there and people actually see. The quarterback isn't the issue. Y'all have the right quarterback in Jameis, and I'm going to continue to say that. If you put the right pieces around Jameis, Cleveland can win football games. That's not your problem. But at this point, I just think the organization, like I said last week, there's some kind of sorcery stuff going on over there. It don't matter. Every ball that could bounce left goes right. Every field goal that could hit the goalpost and go in goes out. There's something going on. They got to fumigate the building. I said this last week. They literally have to fumigate the building. They got to fire everybody. Somebody got roots on the team and won't speak up, so, hey, everybody got to go.
Gosh. Shaun, wait a minute.
Everybody got to go.
You calling for everybody, John? Ain't nobody say?
Trainers, strength and conditioning, everybody but the secretary. Secretary is the only people can say.
All right, so let me ask you this, Shaun, because you say Jameis is the guy, he's the right piece, but he need pieces around him. This offseason, give us what do you think? Let's say they say, we rolling with Jameis as QB1 next year. What's your first piece that you're going to get for Jameis?
Well, the first thing I got to do is solidify that O-line. And this is without me looking at the actual, cap situation. This is just me viewing the team from a big picture standpoint after watching all the season. I have not dived into their cap situation, so if I misspeak about something that is not possible or
we ain't got no money
based on the cap,
we ain't got no money. Just know that.
The Saints haven't had money for 10 years in some kind of way. They sign free agents every offseason.
Right.
Where there's a will, there's a way. They've got to solidify the offensive line. Because when you look at the quarterback situation, I always tell people this. What's out there that's available? The Vikings are more than likely going to re-sign Sam Darnold to a short-term deal. The 49ers are going to franchise Brock Purdy, most likely. what other quarterbacks are out there that are better options than Jameis? It's a bad quarterback draft.
They throwing
Like
Kirk
what?
Cousins.
Like-
They throwing Kirk Cousins and Justin Fields out there.
Yeah,
go Bucks, by the way.
Throw them two. Kirk Cousins and Justin. And we actually want to hear what you got to say about those two. If you got to go to Myles Garrett to say, "Hey, listen, what's the best option in your plan?" Is you gonna tell them the plan is Jameis Winston, Kirk Cousins, or Justin Fields?
So Kirk Cousins is terrible right now.
Yes.
Kirk Cousins was a very productive quarterback, but he's been immobile his whole career. The Achilles injury made him unplayable. Like if you watch him in Atlanta, his issue is he cannot move at all anymore. When he gets that ball on the snap, he's in the exact same spot. So think about what you saw from a pass protection standpoint, and think about how does that work in Cleveland? Justin Fields. If I'm Justin's agent, we're going to sit behind Russ another year in Pittsburgh. I'm not in a rush to go to a bad team.
I totally agree.
I'm going to
totally
stay in
agree.
Pittsburgh. Yeah, I'm going to stay in Pittsburgh. And I'm going to back up another year. Then after next year, when Russ leaves, I'll take over an organization that's going to believe in me and have patience and surround me with good players. Like that's what I want the fan base of Cleveland to understand. It's not a great quarterback market. You're going to look up and you're going to have Deshaun Watson and DTR next year. Watch.
Well,
It's going to be good for
yeah.
me because shout out to everybody at Ultimate Cleveland. I'll be back next year, guys. So they re-signed me for another year. So it's good for me because it'll be very entertaining.
Well, Shaun, I want you to know that if that's the case, then we'll see Myles ask for a trade, Joel Bitonio be retiring, and Denzel might be thinking about asking for a trade. Just want you to know that.
Can you blame him?
Nope, sure can.
Like think about Myles Garrett's last 5 years and where he was 5 years ago in this organization. And listen, the worst thing you could give a man like him is hope. And he's had hope multiple times over the last 5 years. Like, I mean, coming into seasons like, we got what it takes to win it all. Now, after all of that, to then tell him there is no hope for next year, he got every right to ask for a trade. But it's not going to be all doom and gloom. Look at some of the bright spots. Jerome Ford has showed you what he can do if you can get him in space the last couple of weeks. That's a good thing. I don't think he's a lead back, but Jerome Ford is one of those guys. Like, you know how, who is it, Dustin that hates Kareem Hunt? What he say? If you need one, he'll get you three. If you need five, he'll get you three.
That was Jason. That was Jason. But yes.
Yeah, right. Kareem Hunt looking like a damn starting running back for an NFL Super Bowl championship team.
Yeah.
You don't want to see Jerome Ford go somewhere one of these creative coordinators and be averaging 60 yards rushing, receiving, and a touch every week.
You're right. I throw up on myself.
We just had that conversation yesterday, and McNuggets and G scolded me when I said that he could be back next year, and I'd be cool with that. But
well, that's what better option do you have?
Sean,
that's what he said. That's what they said. That's what they said.
He can't be your lead back, but we're fine with him being your secondary third down back.
Sneak this.
Sean, the ignorance.
Like you get rid of something. Hey, you get rid of something because you think there's something better out there, and you end up all alone.
Next year, you mentioned you're kind of joking, I think, about the Deshaun and DTR situation for who the Browns.
I really wasn't if they get rid of Jameis. I really wasn't.
You know, it's funny is like I thought you were joking, and now I think about it, I'm like the Browns actually could do that because the Browns do things that we think are like asinine, make no sense. But let's hope that they don't. And let's hope that they have another option. It seems like Jameis, everyone says Jameis is not going to come back next year. I know that bothers you, and I get it. We've been down that road. But what are the options? I mean, like Kirk Cousins, to me, I'm with you. He can't move. He can't play. Like, he just comes here. He wins you 4 or 5 games. Like, that's it. Sam Darnold ain't walking through that door. Justin Fields, I don't think's leaving Pittsburgh. Why would you? His career is going to just flourish in Pittsburgh eventually when Russell Wilson retires. What do we do? I mean, do you draft somebody? Like,
Jalen Milroe.
Do you
Jackson
take a guy in
Dart.
the first round?
Quinn
Or
Ewers.
like, what do we do, man?
And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I was so disappointed that they benched Jameis. They bought into the narrative. They should have just played Jameis the rest of the year. If you get better around Jameis, listen, let's look at it like this. Jerry Jeudy, people thought the same thing about Jerry Jeudy that they thought of Jerome Ford before Jameis took over. They thought Jeudy was washed.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden, Jameis becomes a quarterback. Now, okay, God, we got a receiver, don't we? And tell me when I'm lying. Like, he brought Jerry Jeudy from the dead. He ran his police car into the middle of the funeral procession and said, hold on, he still got life left.
Wait, Shaun, let me ask you this, because if that's the case, Joe Flacco brought David Njoku from the dead, and now he's regressed.
Hey, he did. And you know what? Njoku hadn't got any better. And they will tell you, I've been on Njoku head all year. Great hands, great contested catch guy, worst route runner of any tight end that starts in the National Football League. And if he don't commit himself to becoming a better football player, I get rid of him too. Now, you got to change the standard at some point, right? My guys, if I'm running this organization, my guys have to go from being talented to being elite. Or we're not going to compensate you. Or we're going to go get somebody that's better. Like, the standard has to change. That's why, like, when I say fumigate the organization, I'm halfway joking because of the analogy, but I'm being serious. Like, they got to change some things. The culture's bad. The standard of excellence doesn't exist if you want to win championships. Like, the accountability factor isn't what it needs to be across the board. Like, it's a privilege to walk into the Cleveland Browns facility. I want a coach that's going to demand excellence. That's going to preach perfection. We're not going to coach effort. You're going to give it or we're going to get rid of you. You got a responsibility every week. I want you to be the best at your position in the league. I want you to work like you're trying to be that. If I don't get that from everybody, then guess what? I'm going to fumigate it. A lot of those guys probably need to be traded and go. They've gotten comfortable, complacent with mediocrity. That's the worst thing you can be as an athlete. And a lot of those guys fit right into that mold right now.
Let me ask you this question, because, I've thought about it, and a lot of people are torn on it. They go back and forth. They talk about when you say, fumigate, get rid of everybody, we always come back to the general manager and the head coach. Here, there's a narrative that we've gotten rid of coaches too early, that our owner has not given people time to get their programs in order. And on the surface level, in my opinion, that sounds good. But when you dig deeper and you look at it and you ask the question, which coach got fired since 1999 that went on somewhere else and did great things, and it was known that we made a mistake? What is the coach that went on to get other jobs? Most likely
Romeo Crennel.
And he was bad in Kansas City. Most likely he became a defensive coordinator back in Houston where he was at. Some of them, went back to being coordinators. But my question is, when you're looking at the coaching staff and the general manager, how long do you believe it takes for you to see tangible dividends? They've been here 5 years. They've been up and down in those 5 years. Do you think their record and what they put on tape is good enough for them to retain their jobs?
No, because the current culture is their responsibility. It happened under their watch. That don't mean you're not a good coach. That means you haven't done a good job. Look at the GM. Dude, is there a significant contributor for last year's draft? Now, I know they didn't have a first-round pick.
Last year's draft. Michael Hall,
Zach Zinter.
Go Bucks.
Right? Michael Hall, Zach Zinter, Jamari Trash, Nathaniel Watson, Miles Harden, Jawan Briggs.
Hall's looked decent when he's played. The answer to the question, though, Shaun, is outside of him, no.
So they had 6 picks last year, and they got one guy that people will say he's okay. That's on the GM. The GM got to stand up for that. You're accountable for player acquisition, right?
Yep.
So he got to stand up. And listen, Andrew Berry's a brother, and I love when brothers get these opportunities. But at the end of the day, man, look, The truth is the truth, right? Truth don't have emotions. He hadn't done enough to upgrade this roster. Let's be honest. No, but when Cleveland plays on Sundays, you don't look at Cleveland like, damn, they got more better players than the other team. You don't ever say that. Mm-hmm. So that's on him. And it's on Stefanski that the culture has gotten where it's gotten. Listen, if we want to have nice things, then we got to get better. We got to hold ourselves to a higher standard. Like, I'm ticked off my alma mater right now. I got on a UNLV hoodie, right?
Mm-hmm. Y'all gotta pay y'all quarterback, man. Stop promising the money and don't pay him.
Hey, listen, I went to Tulane. The head coach told the equipment guy before the Memphis game. Remember when people were talking about Tulane making the college football playoff?
Right.
Before they lost to Memphis, I think it was on Thanksgiving or right around there. I've been asking, the head coach told the equipment guy to send me a package. I still haven't got my package. It's damn near January 1. My alma mater can't have nice things because they won't do right.
Well,
I want the Browns to bucket.
Y'all let y'all quarterback just get paid the biggest NIL deal in the history.
Darian Benson, $4 million?
He got the biggest NIL deal in history of NIL.
From Duke.
From Duke.
Hey, true story. So I get involved in that situation, right? So me and Mensa, we having conversations. He calls me on this visit to Duke, and I was like, "What did they offer you?" He said, 2 years, $8 million. I say, man, listen, you get that in writing, you got to take that, big dog.
Sign me up.
I didn't even try and keep it. I said, hey, big dog, you got to take that, man. The NIL is crazy right now in college.
Absolutely
I can't believe it,
bro. Mensa may never play in the league. I don't know. He's a good player, good college player, but that's life-changing money.
What you mean?
Absolutely. I didn't even try and talk him back to Tulane because I knew what number Tulane would match. I say, hey man, well you gotta take that. And you know these deals are not just money. These deals come with cars for the family and travel paid for the family. Like, man, this is an unbelievable time to be alive and be a college athlete.
Man, I'm just trying to hold out. Maybe I get me one of them kids.
They gonna hate you at Tulane for this. They gonna hate you.
No, he's keeping it real.
They're
gonna lose their coach anyway, so Summerall's gonna get paid.
I hope he do.
Yeah.
And you know what? It is what it is.
Totally.
Because if Tulane want to be great, then Tulane gotta act great. I tell these programs all the time. If you want to be big time, you got to be big time before you become big time.
Wait,
you can't say like it's like an entertainer, right? Like Beyonce, she did the Cowboy Carter thing at the halftime. By the way, shout out to B, the all white with the horses. I mean, she's just fantastic. But she's been projecting that greatness from the very beginning. She didn't have to get the platform to project the greatness. She's always thought she was great. If you go look at her performances when she was young, she's doing it big. Like Cleveland, if you want to be great, then you got to behave great. You got to do things that great teams do. Stop settling for average.
Like build a dome.
And right now there's some average. No, the weather's your friend. You got to use that as an advantage. You know how people hate going to Buffalo in the playoffs? You got to get mentally tough, hardcore guys that excel in inclement weather. That once they get it fixed, like if I fumigated the building, let's just say the owner had a lot of sense and he decided to hire me as a GM. It take me one off season to get everything right. The one off season.
Well, listen, Jimmy has him call Shaun King, call Roto-Rooter, and call the pest control, and we'll get it done, man.
Roto-Rooter.
Sean, big dog, I appreciate you.
Hey, G, one off season. Just give me one off season.
We ain't got no money, sir.
Hey, listen, I'm going to go meet with the whole organization, owner included. We're going to set the guidelines. We're going to create the culture. I'm going to put it in black and white. I'm going to be like, either you're going to be part of this or you're going to be gone. No excuses, no explanations. This is too storied of an organization for us to be in the rut we're in. This fan base been too good to us and too passionate about our outcomes for us not to give them what they deserve, which is a consistent title contender. You're not going to win it every year, but we should be a team that looks like we're capable of winning it every year. And anybody that's not on that playoff, you go.
Here's what we're going to do, because I believe in standards. They will not call me Jay Crawford. We will go to break on time. We got to go.
All right, brothers.
Shaun, appreciate you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Our guests get off here quickly when I'm
He
on.
said, I am not Jay Crawford.
What you got?
We'll go see how that works in the TV show, G. We'll see how you do navigating those waters. But we have Dustin and Tyvis on, and I know Dustin's going on vacation next week, so I wanted to make sure we had a minute or two here to talk.
So I'm
Ohio
on
State.
Monday and Tuesday next week.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Well, then it's a little preview of the preview that we'll give you next week because we only have 5 minutes anyway. But I wanted to ask this question. Ohio State, Oregon, they play on Wednesday on New Year's Day. Are these the two best teams in the country, in your opinion? You guys both watch a ton of college football, especially your alma mater.
Yeah.
Are these the two best teams?
Them in Texas.
Yeah, I think Texas is in the mix too.
Them Texas, Notre Dame is my 4.
I mean, we've got the right teams, the final teams playing in these quarterfinals. I think the right teams are there. Ohio State, Oregon, 1-2, sure. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think Ohio State's going to win the national championship.
Arizona State has no shot. That's a wrap.
No chance.
No chance.
Boise State.
Penn
No
State, no shot. They just you guys got the right numbers. Texas, Ohio State, Oregon. I think Ohio State is the most talented team, which is why people are the most angry. They got 2 great backs. They got the receivers. They got the defense. I think this should be the championship game if we could do the seeding again. I think Oregon, Ohio State should be the championship, but we'll get this what is it, semifinal game? Semifinal game.
Yes,
They say quarterfinal game.
Quarterfinal game.
Damn.
The Ohio State Texas semi is going to be great.
That's going to be another good one. I like the fact you guys like the fact that it's the Rose Bowl.
I'm telling you right now, I'm on record. Ohio State's going to beat Penn State for the national championship in Atlanta.
No retribution, no rebuke from Tyvis or G.
I mean,
if
we really think Ohio State
you just got to let things breathe.
if we really feel like Ohio State's the most talented team in the country, which I do think, and they're not playing a team with a blue helmet and a yellow thong on top of it this weekend, so that's a positive.
Right.
I give Ohio State at least a 50-50, maybe 60% chance to win the Natty from where they sit right now, and I think that's the highest percentage I would have for any team left. And if you get by Oregon, I think that's the toughest matchup. It's gonna be a tough road. I mean, you would literally have to beat Tennessee, Oregon, Texas, and Penn State, in my opinion.
Dustin, how would you feel if you were Oregon? You go undefeated in the regular season, the number 1 seeded, in your first college football playoff game, you have to see maybe the most talented team in the country.
Frustrated, but you're just happy you didn't have to play last week and you got guys healthy. But what are you going to do? I mean, you're the number 1 seed. I guess you could be upset that they put Ohio State in the position where they would be in the same side of the bracket as you. But it is what it is. I mean, a lot of teams have beefs in these playoffs. I don't think that Boise or Arizona State should be hosting playoff games.
Nah.
I mean, that's a joke. But the reality is, it is what it is. We're all going to watch no matter what.
Yeah, and look, it's going to all play out. You're going to be the champion. Shaun said it. You want to be a big dog, got to act like a big dog. Like, big dogs don't look at brackets. Who's next? Who's next on the chopping block? So you got Oregon and Ohio State. I will say this: do you believe that it's the advantage goes to the team that lost the first game? I think it's damn hard to beat somebody twice.
It's always tough to beat a team twice. I also think that this favors Ohio State because it's at the Rose Bowl. Ohio State always seems to play well there. The fans love going there.
Yeah.
And so the energy is always favored towards the Buckeyes, I think. And it's tough to beat a team twice.
Yeah.
I think Oregon, that was a perfect storm for Oregon to win in Eugene. Mm-hmm. You know, they were at home. It was a night game. Ohio State literally pissed down their pants.
Yeah.
In a multitude of ways.
And when you look at the way they won, you could definitely see them coming in and telling their kids, "Hey, Tyvis, we had their asses. We let them off the hook."
I watched
They were who we thought they were. Huh?
Every time during that game, I kept live betting Ohio State. I'm like, there's no chance they're going to lose.
They're smoking.
And I was getting better and better odds. I mean, they're going to win. And even at the very end, I was driving back. I actually was doing a game up in Michigan, Central Michigan game. So I'm driving back, and I'm listening to the game. Paul Keels and company. Great job. Lachey, shout out.
Paul and Jim.
And I'm like, oh, they're going to kick a game winner.
Done.
They're there.
Hey, we got to kick anything.
No, listen, by the way, I don't want to trust the kicker with anything
I tell you
either.
what, I was so mad. I was like, why are we not just running after Mecca catches that ball? Like, why not just run the ball and just kick
my God, dude.
I understand why we end up getting the
I
offensive
certainly hope
passes
Ryan Day has
because-
learned his lesson
Woo!
from New Year's Eve a few years back against the Dogs.
Yeah,
We don't need to- you don't rely on
kicked
the
that
kicker.
thing on Tennessee, and it felt like 10 yards short. I was like, good night.
Watching that, like I think like sometimes after you lose a game and you play somebody else like Tennessee, like you kind of get your mojo back because you'd be like, hey, we are good. Hey, we could be really good because Tennessee came out there and they was cocky. The people showed up. They had the whole state there, and they got smoked. It wasn't close. I mean, they looked like they was playing two different styles of football, two different brands. And say what you want. Say what you want. You beat a SEC team like that, that's gonna make some noise. Paul Feinbaum gonna say something. Like it makes some waves, and then you come into the game. You in the Rose Bowl. You tell them, hey, listen, we already had Oregon the first time. We already believe we got better talent. We make a couple more plays.
This thing completely started over with that win over Tennessee. It's like a whole new season for these guys. It's like a new life. There was all this negativity surrounding the program after the Michigan loss, and now it truly is. They had enough time, damn near a month between that game and this Tennessee game. You just spanked Tennessee, an SEC opponent. You talked about it, like Feinbaum, these guys. Like, you beat that team's ass, and now you get to go to play Oregon at the Rose Bowl, which is a treat because you just had to play in 20 degrees temperature in Ohio to get to now go to Pasadena. So it's a treat. I think they're gonna beat the brakes off Oregon. Beat the brakes off. I'll take a win no matter how they get it.
I got them two scores.
Okay, great. 10 points or more. I'll take it.
Super chat.
We got 2 super chats, and we're going to head over to WKYC for the final 30 minutes of today's programming. First comes from Forceman47, who says, with simple restructures that don't hit you until the cap reaches $350 million in 2028, you can get to $72 million without cuts. Let's stop the narrative they can't do anything when jobs are on the line. And Reeve Herbst says, nice to see they got an all-black panel today, LOL.
That's funny.
That's a great one. Listen,
That's funny.
Justin does get to come to all the cookouts.
He does.
I got the invite.
Yeah, like
I know how to hang.
Yeah,
I was raised by the brothers.
Yeah, he got Jordans. He got all the Jordans, and he played DB.
Make sure you guys tune into WKYC in 3 minutes for a hatless G. Bush, Tyvus, and Dustin making his TV debut.
Hey, man, go give me a brush.